I'm just trying to catch it on video.
But when it goes back on video, just say they felt for a pulse or something in his neck, and the paramedic was shocked.
They'll get some. Have you stick it out? I'll do it now. Because it is YouTube, but not on telly, are we? I think that'll pull a lot in, won't it? What?
It's already on. It's still on.
It's right. Well, obviously, we're just in the front room. All we are bereaved families in the front room trying to get our message across of how corrupt the police are and how investigations into death are not carried out fully. We're not professionals, we don't proclaim to be, but we actually need to get the message across to you, the public, to come on board and stop this injustice into families. When Jimmy helped the paramedic actually said to Jimmy, I'll pass you on to Brenda because Brenda will be able to explain better now, because obviously...
Yeah, the paramedic said he was shocked that he couldn't bring David back. If he was struggling for breath 10 minutes before, he should have been able to bring him back, and he was shocked that he couldn't.
But it was actually far too late, weren't it?
Far too late to bring him back,
Yeah,
there was nothing he could do.
He'd been dead for at least a good few hours at least, hadn't he?
Yeah, and afterwards, the thing that got me most is the police didn't want a statement from Jimmy when he was the one that helped the paramedics. He was the first one there with David, yet they didn't even want a statement about him, about it, to be sent to the coroner's court.
You literally had to beg for that, didn't you, Brenda?
Yeah, and it took about 3 months before the police ever took a statement from him, and then it was still never sent to the coroner's court, and he was never called to the coroner's court.
Do you believe the coroner actually saw that evidence?
No. No.
That you actually think the police withheld that evidence?
Yes, because after the paramedic had been,
yeah,
the 2 people who lived next door came in the house, into the bedroom where David was, and they got called to the coroner's court for a statement to give evidence. But Jimmy didn't, and he was first there on the scene.
With the paramedic?
Yes. His statement never went, completely missed out, and not called to the coroner's court. Yet people who went there half an hour later was called.
So, Jimmy, why do you think your statement was withheld from the inquest? Do you think you asked too many questions from the police?
Yes.
And do you think you had too many concerns?
I had too many concerns on the day.
And you was the person that knew that David
What did you
was
actually
gone.
say to the police then?
That David had definitely gone for a long time.
I said David had been, I think David had been gone for a long time.
And what did the police say?
That's not for you, it's for the coroner to decide, or the ambulance people. And something else, they said he was gasping for breath at 2 o'clock. Was it 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock? I keep getting this up with this one, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock he was gasping for breath, and yet on the coroner's report, time of death is unknown. And if he was gasping for breath, if people said he was gasping for breath at 2 o'clock, the ambulance people,
arrived about 10 past.
and they called, they said that he had passed by 25 past, I believe, 20 past or something, yeah.
Mm.
And yet how come there was no, he was alive, allegedly alive at 2 o'clock. The ambulance people pronounced him dead at 20 past, 25 past 2, yet the coroner, time of death unknown. That was on the coroner's report, wasn't it? Time of death unknown, yet someone had seen him alive at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, you were there at 2 minutes past.
And I was there at 2 minutes past 2, if not even that. And he was already gone cold, and the bruising had started at the bottom of his back.
I had that same problem with Bradley's death. I had 3 times a death for Bradley. First of all, it was 4 p.m, then it was 4:20. Then at the last inquest, it was alleged Bradley met his death at 3 o'clock. Now, I had a problem at the inquest that the paramedic statement wasn't called, or the paramedic wasn't actually called to give evidence, because Bradley had only just gone into a dying heartbeat when he left the school. And that concerns me a lot, because at the last inquest, we were trying to allege that my son went into an area where no one were, and the 3 o'clock time limit that I'd been given was the only slot when the hall was empty. But obviously, Bradley had only just gone into a dying heartbeat. When he left the school, it was impossible. He went into that hall when he died, and yet these are people that are working for Her Majesty's services that are not filling their duty, and the law costing taxpayers all this money. And we've lost children. We have lost the most precious thing that we can have, children.
Well, at David's inquest, there wasn't a statement from the paramedic sent to the coroner's court.
There was done.
No.
And what do you feel about that, Brenda? Do you feel...
Well, that's what I tell you everything, that he was definitely gone and couldn't be brought back in the time, time he had been gone for.
So what do you feel with regards to someone ringing up the paramedics and saying someone's struggling to death, knowing that your son's already been dead for hours, and the police not investigating it? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's obviously all being covered up for a reason, but I just don't know.
Foul play.
There's methadone, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right. And would he not have all his clothes taken off him, like some wash?
Yes, all his clothes was on the end of the bed, folded up, washed and dried.
Why do you think that was, Brenda?
Because like Jimmy said, there's definitely foul play somewhere, and...
But you can't get your answers, can you?
No.
And you're still fighting for your answers, aren't you?
Yeah.
And
there was a glass of water at the side of the bed.
how do you know it was water?
I only know, well, I don't know it was water. It was something clear.
Oh, what happened with that then, with the DNA in the front?
Nothing. I know there was photographs taken of it, but I know it wasn't taken away.
So there's no forensics?
No.
No, nothing?
No.
And there's methadone in your son's system?
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if do you think the public are aware that methadone is a Class A drug?
Some will be and some won't.
So, if someone was found dead with a Class A drug in their system, if it was ecstasy or coke, what would happen, do you think, to that, if that person was found dead in someone's house with that in their system? People had the ecstasy and the
looking for
cocaine
people who supplied it to
in their
them,
house.
but with it being a methadone, they're not looking for anybody who supplied it. They're not,
So,
because the government allows them to bring it out on the NHS. Do you know what I mean? Because it's allowed to be out.
yes.
They don't do anything about it, even though it's a Class A drug. Like you say, if it was cocaine or something, they'd be looking to see who was supplied in with it.
Yes. And if they're any on the premises as well, there'd be prosecutions, wouldn't there?
Yeah. But nobody was ever to come to questioning or anything.
Do you think it has something to do with then how the drug rehabilitation works, and that the authorities don't want the statistics and how this methadone is being misused, that your David's death is covered up?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And are you still going to fight this case?
Yes.
Yes. What measures are you taking with this, Brenda? And how has it left you feeling?
Well, for the past 2 years, it's knowing in my mind that it's all been covered up, and it's been trying to sort out how to go about it. That's been the hard thing.
Have you been offered any funding to sort this out? Because obviously it's like an investigation, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like nobody wants to know.
So all doors have been closed to you.
Well, I went to see the coroner before the inquest, saying that there's something suspicious about it, and there's a lot of lies about the time he went and everything, so obviously something's got to be covered up.
Yeah.
And the coroner's word to me was, you wouldn't believe how many suspicious deaths passed through this coroner's court, and that's all he said. There's a lot of suspicious deaths that pass through this coroner's court.
So it's not good enough, the system's not good enough to
No.
work, does it?
No,
No.
there's nothing we can do.
And I understand you just signed a petition.
Yeah.
How many signatures on that petition? Remember?
At the minute, 380 odd.
Is that already up to now?
Yes, that's up to now, and it's only been,
So there must be a lot of people across the land.
yeah, and that's only been out 2 weeks, just over.
So there's an awful lot of families across the land have had injustices. There's not just you and I in this room.
Oh, no.
There's also, as you know, there's another death, isn't there? Very similar to David's death.
Yeah.
A young girl called Jasmine.
Yeah.
Was that investigated properly?
No, that one wasn't there. But there'll be a lot more.
There'll be an awful lot more.
But some people can't deal with it. To sort it, can they? They just...
Well, you see, the thing is, once we have lost a child...
It's having the strength to go through it, plus knowing
so the
how to go about it.
And getting the legal advice that we need,
Yeah.
because it's so short, having the money and the funds to be able to fight it. Yet if we were the perpetrator, we'd actually be given all the help that we needed free.
Yeah.
But because we are victims,
Yeah.
and our only crime would be to lost a child and have the child's death covered up and not investigated properly, and laws broken, we're not entitled to any funding hours.
No.
We have to fight for ourselves, especially, you know, if like your husband's working, Jimmy's working. I had the same problems with Bradley's death. Just listen to some. Are we all right on the night? How's that looking, Dad? How did we do?
All right.
So shall I now finish with